So what is a JoyGasm? My name is Elena Harder. I'm the founder of JoyGasm, and people ask me like, so what is this experience anyway? I'm going to give you 3 different perspectives. The first is my own perspective, which I can speak about, and then I'm going to talk about sort of the spiritual side of it and what is happening and what is happening, and then I'm going to talk about the scientific perspective of it on what is happening within our bodies and our biochemistry. So from my perspective, what I see as a JoyGasm is it's a visceral physical sensation. It's something that I feel in my body, and it's a physical connection, a physical experiencing of the energetic field of the body. And now what that looks like in my body, and it could be a little bit different for everybody, is a full body tingling, a connection to a larger magnetic field. My hands become magnetic. I can feel the interaction between the fingertips. I can reach out to somebody and feel them, feel myself in relation to their body and their energetic field. And it lights me up. And as I move, through the body series, as I move through that process, there's an activation in the hands. The hands start to become tingly. There's a really intense feeling in the palm of the hand. There's sometimes a pulsing of the body, of the vagina and the womb space. It's like vroom, vroom, vroom. It feels really good. There's an opening of the heart. Depends on where the energy is focused, right? But there's an opening of the heart. This like this feeling of like being capable of anything, everything, as well as like a deep relaxation, like, oh, like everything is going to be all right, like everything is beautiful, and like you're capable of doing. And when I hit really deep states, there's also this like sort of wish granter space, something that I find also in really profound intimacy, which is this space of like anything is possible. What do you wish of me? Like I feel like a genie. I'm just like, yes, what would you like? I can grant it right now, And so for me, it's that harmonizing with that much higher, bigger part of me, sort of like releasing the attachment to the physical human body and allowing myself to expand and be this really expansive source energy place where I am everything and I am connected to everything, and there's sometimes there's an awareness of like the horizon, this horizontal horizon, and not only the horizon but the plane, and not only that plane but this plane and that plane and this plane, and the complete like undimensionality or infinite dimensionality of time and space, and the complete removal of time and space from a frame of reference that's important. It's a space of flow. It's a space of connection. It's a very deep meditative space, as well as a deeply pleasurable space, as well as a space that's like really grounded and connected to my body and really feels really fantastic to be in. And then sometimes there's the experience of moving above and below the body, which causes like goosebumps on a level that happens sort of spontaneously sometimes, but fairly rarely in my daily life. Although probably more compared to some other people, because I do have a practice and those brain pathways are very strong. But with the JoyGasm practice, I can intentionally move into those spaces. And it's also a way for me of alchemy, a way of transmutation, of transformation, of taking a way of dealing with stress and negative emotions and moving them very quickly into a positive, powerful feeling. So that's my experience of it. And then I want to talk about the spiritual perspective of it. So when I started talking to people about this experience, they're like, oh, it's a Kundalini awakening. Oh, okay. Well, that like is beautiful. And so it's that connection to that life source energy. It's that connection. It's that clearing of all the chakra spaces. It's the opening of the heart chakra, the opening of the sacral chakra, and the experiencing of that sexuality and the heart space, and blending and merging them together. It's also a space of connection with the highest source energy. It's a space of connection where you are accessing multidimensional parts of yourself that are beyond your physical reality. We're also harmonizing and moving into the toroid, so this toroidal space that is around our bodies. we're accessing that through the movements, and we're actually smoothing and harmonizing that, as well as sort of in the alchemical practices. So later, as we're transmuting emotions, we are accessing like a parallel reality where there is all these little sheep creatures that eat pain. So we're accessing a parallel reality where our pain is welcome, as well as accessing a very high vibrational, energetic reality where the recognition is that around us, surrounding us at all times, the world is in a state of orgasmic bliss. The source energy is not just love or fear to love. It is like fear to love to orgasm, or fear to love to joygasm, however you want to look at it. And that love is a beautiful, enlightened state, and that the embodiment of love, the embodiment of that pleasure, is something that is even beyond that, is something that is even greater than that, and allows us to feel that experience. And so the harmonization of the field, the experience of this stroke, like this stroke is originally the air element, and it comes from an ancient Tibetan practice that predates Tai Chi and Qigong. So it's actually before that, and it is the air element. Air is the most malleable of the energies, other than maybe ether, and so it allows us to harmonize with that air energy and actually call the winds. Like through this practice, I've been able to impact and influence the wind, and move things and move the wind, and call even within like an indoor space, to create this movement of wind within the space. I think that's all I have to say about the spiritual perspective right now. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. So from a scientific perspective, what we're looking at is that the parasympathetic nervous system is the biggest piece. So the sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight, the like something's freaking out, and a lot of people walk around in fight or flight all the time. It's like, it's a part of their experience, it's part of their daily life. They live in a constant state of stress, many of us, myself included sometimes. And when that sympathetic nervous system is active, we literally cannot access the parasympathetic. So the parasympathetic nervous system is called the rest, digest, or the feed and breed system. So it's responsible for resting, proper digestion, as well as our sensual, sexual impulses, that breeding space. Obviously, if there's a tiger chasing you, now is not a good time to have a heart on. Like, seems really simple. And so those two systems actually can't operate at the same time. Now that's really powerful, because what we can do is through this action through this action, right? So this is borrowed from heart math, and heart math has been studying the impact of the human heart on the toroidal field and the coherence of our field. And this is something that they've been measuring for the last 30 years. They've created lots of technologies that'll help you balance and come into harmony and gain more awareness of this. And basically what they're saying is that a joyful memory combined with an intention in the heart and breathing allows us to come into coherence. So when we come into coherence, our fight or flight shuts off, and our feed breed moves in, which is why people are so hungry after joygasm, because that feeding system, that digestive system, is like, oh, I'm really primed right now to like be able to enjoy food, right? And so the body, like as we shift, because those two systems can't be active at the same time, as we engage in these slow meditative things, as we open those arms and we say, hey, I am a powerful, incredible creature. I'm a powerful creature. I'm big and strong. I'm bigger than any of my problems. I'm bigger than anything else. As we open that neck and we say, I'm really vulnerable, we're telling that system, it's okay, relax. It's okay, relax. It's okay, relax. And we're allowing ourselves to move into that parasympathetic nervous system, which creates that full body relaxation. And then as we do some of the other exercises where we're connecting with another person, we're opening into the intimacy, we start to build that oxytocin. And there's also the entrainment factor. So anytime that you have eye contact and breathing with it that are in harmony with another person, your brain starts to move into a space of entrainment. And what that means is that your brain is basically moving into a space where you're harmonizing. So if the best example of this is if you have a tuning fork and another tuning fork and a guitar, and you strike that first tuning fork, and it's the same note as that second tuning fork, the second tuning fork, without even touching it, will start vibrating. And when it starts vibrating, what happens is that first one is vibrating, but the vibrations traveling through space and time have caused that second one to start vibrating without even hitting it. And that's the essence of how JoyGasm is transmitted. And so then that's fantastic. But the guitar doesn't do anything. Now, let's say we have a different tuning fork, and this one is not matched to that second tuning fork, but it is the same key as one of those other, one of the strings on the guitar. So we ding the tuning fork, and the string on the guitar that is the same note starts vibrating and starts making sound because the vibrations are traveling through the air and making that string vibrate. Now the middle tuning fork does nothing because it's not in the same frequency, and those other strings, they don't do anything else because they're also not tuned to the same frequency. So that is the essence of the entrainment. Like that experience of those two pieces coming into harmony is the entrainment. And wherever people are at when they walk into the room, we teach them how to entrain, how to get into the space so that they can then start to experience the JoyGasm for themselves and shut off that monkey mind and get out of that sympathetic and move into that feed breed system and feel really good and really relaxed and harmonious in their bodies. Anything else? The science. Duchenne smile. So smiling and hacking, like if you copy my face right now, which is going to bring us into a form of entrainment, if you copy this face, which is totally ridiculous, what you'll notice is that after about 10-15 seconds, you start to think things are more funny. So I could tell you like a super silly joke that doesn't even good. Like, what do you call cheese that's not yours? Nacho cheese. Like, and if you've been doing the face, you're going to think it's really, 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 really funny. And so this is like this is the simplest and one of the few ways that we actually hack our body for more joy and begin to create that space so that we can entrain into that really high frequency, start to train our body into higher and higher frequencies. I think that's it. That's all I got to talk about right now. So that's my perspective on like, what is a JoyGasm? What is my experience? What is the sort of spiritual side of it, and what are the scientific sort of principles behind it. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's helpful. And again, I would love to see you at one of the live events. I love you.